My girlfriend and I have been dating for around 2.5 years and haven't had any real serious problems until now. A little backstory. She has some history with her mom being an alcoholic, and her dad left her for another family pretty early on in her life, but he's still relatively in her life, and I know they communicate a good amount. In her previous relationship, she was cheated on and treated poorly by her ex-boyfriend, so I knew there would be some trust issues from the beginning. Since she was my first ever girlfriend, I tried to explain to her early on that there's no way I could ever do something like that to her, because I would feel like a piece of garbage forever. There were some times when she would get upset with me over things like the girls I followed on social media. I would unfollow them right away as soon as she mentioned it, because it didn't matter to me. I wanted her to feel as if she could trust me. There was also one occasion when I woke up in the middle of the night to find her going through my phone, which was odd because I felt like I never did anything that warranted that. This was around early 2023. After this encounter, everything was still going strong because she is very attractive, funny, and a lot like me if I were a girl. Since we are both in college and I live in Texas while she lives up north, we are very far apart in the summer. I didn't see this as a problem because I knew how bad it was for her when she got cheated on, so I figured there was no way she would cheat on me. I guess I was completely wrong. She told me a couple of days ago that in January 2023 and in the summer of 2023, she cheated on me. I still can't believe it and feel like I'm on a prank show. I know it seems like I should dump her immediately, but I just got an apartment with her that we are splitting rent on, and simply dropping her from the lease would be nearly impossible since I'm going to be a full-time college student who is also a Division I athlete and trying to find a job in the area. I'm not very hopeful of getting a job in time to pay the full rent by myself. She insists that she has been going through a rough time mentally with the conclusion of her athletic career, and that the cheating doesn't mean anything, and that I'm the only guy she can ever see herself with. I've never posted on here before, so go easy on me, but I'd like your opinions on what I should do. You can also ask more questions, since I'm sure I left out a lot, and I'll try to answer them as best as possible. Thank you. Now for an update. After reading all the comments criticizing me, I just told her to go away and do whatever it is she wants. Thanks for the advice, and I'll find someone else who genuinely likes me for me, because I know what I have to offer. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Dude, she is basically giving you an out. If you can't break the lease, then stick it out until you can leave. There would be a lock on my phone with a passcode she would not get. When she was going through your phone, she was cheating then. You're now in an open relationship, which means every lady you like, you can pursue. She made her bed, and now let her sleep in it. Comment 2. Some women can't let go of their past ever. She's gonna cheat again. There's a saying, hurt people hurt people. She was looking for a reason to be mad at you for no reason, probably to justify herself and not feel bad for being a bad person to you. Now, for the update. Just over a month has passed since I decided to end things with my girlfriend after her cheating confessions. Honestly, that was one of the best decisions I've made. I moved into the apartment alone, and thankfully I managed rent as a full-time college student and athlete. I was worried about that at first, but it turns out I had enough scholarship money and a part-time job that it all worked out. I focused on my studies and training, determined to put the past behind me. I didn't have time to dwell on what happened and was just so happy to be free from my ex. One evening, I went to a local bar to unwind with a few teammates. It was a chill night, just grabbing some food, drinks, and talking about life. While there, I ran into an old friend from high school, Mia, who I hadn't seen in years. We were never super close, but yeah, I knew her. She was really nice and just fun to be around. We started chatting, and she mentioned she was back in town for the summer and working at a nearby cafe. So we exchanged numbers and agreed to meet up the following week for coffee. Just something low-key, no pressure or anything. During our meetup, we talked about life and our college experiences. She went to a different school than me, so it was nice to catch up on everything. I found it refreshing to connect with someone who wasn't tied to my past relationship. We could just talk about whatever. As we spent more time together, I felt a spark that I hadn't felt in a long time. I was honestly worried that I was going to be jaded after everything with my ex, but with Mia, it just felt easy and like we clicked. Meanwhile, my ex-girlfriend reached out multiple times, trying to apologize and win me back. I ignored her messages and focused on enjoying my time with Mia. I guess she thought I was going to just roll over and take her back. Newsflash, not happening. One weekend, my college friends planned a barbecue at a local park. I invited Mia to join, wanting to introduce her to my friends. Everyone got along well, and it felt good to laugh and enjoy a carefree day. Like, I didn't realize how much I needed that. Just hanging out and being normal. Then my ex showed up unexpectedly, having heard about the barbecue from someone at school. She approached me, trying to pull me aside for a private conversation. I told her I wasn't interested in talking and to leave me alone. My friends noticed the tension and tried to diffuse the situation by distracting me. My ex ended up leaving in frustration, and the barbecue continued without any further issues. They were seriously the best friends ever. Like, I have no idea what I would have done without them. A few days later, I got a message from my ex saying she had something important to tell me. Out of curiosity, I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop near campus. I know, but I figured it was better to just hear her out than have her be a total psycho. When I arrived, she looked anxious and was fidgeting with her hands. She was a mess, honestly. She revealed that she was pregnant and claimed it was mine, throwing me off guard. I just stared at her for a second, like, what? I calmly told her I needed time to process this news and left the coffee shop. I talked about the situation with Mia, who supported me and encouraged me to think logically. She was like, "You need to know if this is yours." I decided to take a DNA test to confirm paternity, wanting to know the truth before making any decisions. Like, there's no way I'm just believing anyone who cheated on me, right? As I waited for the test results, I kept up my routine, training hard and focusing on school. I had enough on my plate without adding this to it. The results came back a week later, confirming that I was not the father. I met Mia for dinner to share the news, and she was genuinely happy for me. She was like, "I knew it." As our relationship deepened, I introduced Mia to my family during a dinner gathering. My family was supportive, and they welcomed her with open arms. They could tell I was in a better mood and that I was just happy, and that meant a lot. My ex reached out again, begging for another chance, saying she made a mistake. I stood firm in my decision, explaining that I was moving forward with my life. She just needed to get over it. By the end of the month, Mia and I were officially dating, enjoying our time together. It felt weird to say that I was dating someone again, but in a good way. I really like her, and I'm just excited about what's next. Edit. I appreciate all the support and advice from everyone. To clarify, my ex was persistent after I ended things. She reached out through friends and social media, trying to make me feel guilty. I remained firm in my decision. When I met her at the coffee shop, she tried to manipulate me by claiming she was pregnant. I was cautious and didn't believe her right away. The DNA test was necessary for my peace of mind. Regarding my relationship with Mia, it developed naturally, and I'm grateful for her understanding and support. I'm focused on my future now, feeling optimistic. Am I the idiot for excluding my fiance's condescending friend from my gathering and standing up for myself? I've been with my partner for almost 6 years, and we recently got engaged. He's someone I really adore and cherish. I moved countries to be in his country, which was a big adjustment for me, and it triggered some intense social anxiety I didn't even know I had. I get along with his family and overall friend group despite the anxiety. He's from a large group of childhood guy friends, and recently they all have girlfriends. They self-titled themselves as wives and girlfriends, and there's some sort of pressure for the girls to be as close as the boys, which I don't feel is fair. I'm cordial and friendly with all the girlfriends, but I don't have a very strong connection with any of them really. I feel very different. For starters, I'm the only foreigner. I'm also more introverted and geeky than the group. and there's a bit of a struggle to find things to relate to. Sometimes the vibes with the girls give a bit of high school mean girls. There's a lot of comparing and talking negatively about others in the group, and it's not my vibe. Anyway, there's one specific girlfriend that I struggle with. She has made some weird condescending comments about my accent. She never says anything directly mean, but it often feels a bit backhanded and forced. She has also told me that I remind her of someone that she often complains about and says has all sorts of mental issues, which again made it feel like a backhanded comment. Her partner and my boyfriend are very close, and they both seem to have these expectations that we both need to be friends. Recently, I was invited to her bachelorette party, which I was very surprised by. I suspect this only happened because some of the girlfriends got invited, and her fiancé pressured her, maybe indirectly, to invite me. I pondered really hard if I should go. I felt like I had to, but I also felt it wouldn't be comfortable and genuine. I decided it would be less rude to decline than to join and clearly act uncomfortable on a day that is so special to her. It was also extremely expensive, and I'd rather save money right now. I told my fiancé about it at the time of the decision, and he seemed okay with it, but after hanging out with his friends during the weekend, the bachelorette is taking place, he made some upsetting remarks. I think it's unfair. I'm an adult, and I should be able to make this type of decision. I also reached out to her and apologized for not joining, and proposed a one-on-one get-together as an alternative, which she ignored. Am I being unreasonable? I really want to keep the relationship happy, but I think this pressure makes me feel infantilized a bit. I shouldn't feel this pressured to be friends with specific people. Am I missing something here? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. They self-titled themselves as WAGs. Can someone help me out here? What does WAGs mean? Original poster. You're being an adult, making regular adult decisions. Your boyfriend, on the other hand, is hanging out with his childhood buddies, and they all haven't realized that they grew up, and it's time to act like adults. Comment 2. The only answer here is no. You're not being unreasonable. This isn't negotiable. You're a grown woman with grown woman decisions to make, and your partner should go marry his friend if that is his only priority. I'm being dramatic. Good luck, original poster. Now, for the update. The day after I told my fiancé I wasn't going to the bachelorette party, he sent me a text about a dinner with friends that evening. I didn't even know we had friends. Like, aren't we supposed to be figuring this stuff out together? Anyway, he was all excited about it, so I just decided to go along with it. The place we went to is this trendy restaurant downtown. Seriously, everyone knows about it. It's basically a social media influencer's dream or whatever. The atmosphere was really vibrant, and the crowd was lively. I guess that's what you pay for when you go to these hipster places. The first thing I noticed when I walked in was the girlfriend who always makes me uncomfortable. Of course, she was there, seated right at the center of the table like she owned the place. I exchanged polite greetings with everyone, but it was super awkward. I felt like everyone was holding their breath, waiting to see what would happen next. During dinner, the girlfriend had the nerve to say I should be grateful for the invite. Like, no. Just no. She was implying I wasn't really part of the group, which is pretty much what I expected from her. Everyone else was quiet, and I could feel the other girlfriend's eyes staring at me. It made me so self-conscious that I couldn't even enjoy the handcrafted avocado toast or whatever it was. At one point, my fiancé defended me, saying he loved my accent and how unique it was. I was honestly surprised he said that. He usually avoids confrontation like it's the plague. The girlfriend rolled her eyes and muttered something under her breath. I caught it, and I just had to ask why she felt the need to make those remarks. Everyone was caught off guard, but I didn't care. I was done being the quiet little mouse in the corner. She tried to laugh it off, saying she was just joking, but the atmosphere was so tense you could probably swim through it. My fiancé looked really proud of me for standing up for myself. I think that boosted my confidence a bit, but I didn't want to make a scene, so I just smiled and moved on. After dinner, we all headed to a bar nearby. I decided to sit with my fiancé, which meant distancing myself from the girlfriend. It was like a breath of fresh air, honestly. She noticed and tried to engage me in conversation, but I was giving her short replies. My fiancé must have sensed the tension because he suggested we get a drink at the bar instead of joining the rest of the group. I think he knew I needed a little break from the drama. While we were at the bar, I overheard the girlfriend gossiping about me to another friend. She called me the outsider. Like, really? That was the best she could come up with? The next day, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I planned a small gathering at my place and invited my fiancé's friends, excluding the girlfriend. I mean, she was already calling me the outsider, so I figured I'd own it. I sent out these cute invitations, emphasizing a cozy night of board games and snacks. When the evening came, a few of the other girlfriends showed up. They seemed curious about the gathering, like they were expecting something scandalous. When the girlfriend realized she wasn't invited, she sent me this passive-aggressive text. I could practically feel her eyes rolling through the phone. I decided not to respond. I was done with the drama. I just wanted to enjoy the evening with the friends who actually appreciated me. A few days later, my fiancé brought up how nice it was to see me shine during the gathering. He said he loved seeing me assert myself and have fun. I was just like, thanks, babe. He promised to support me in future situations with the girlfriend. I really needed that. It felt like we were in this together. During a weekend brunch the following week, the girlfriend showed up out of the blue. She looked really annoyed. I stayed calm and greeted her, but made sure to stick with my new friends. She tried to engage me in conversation, but I was so indifferent. I could tell it bothered her, and honestly, that made me feel a little good. I wasn't going to let her ruin my brunch. The tension peaked when she confronted me about the gathering. She accused me of trying to separate the group. I was like, no, I just wanted a different atmosphere where I felt comfortable. She stormed off. It was honestly a relief. My relationship with my fiancé has grown stronger through all of this. We navigate these challenges together, and it just makes me feel like we can take on anything. Mini update. My fiancé had a chat with his friends about the girlfriend. He asked them to be more welcoming and respectful. They agreed, and the atmosphere has been much better since then. Am I the idiot for demanding commitment from my boyfriend who thinks promises are a joke? I'm 26. We've been together since I was 21, and he is now 31. We've been together for 4.5 years in a monogamous relationship. I have a good job and have been stable since we met, running my own business. He had a stable job, then 2020 happened, and he hasn't been stable financially until the end of last year. We also live together. We were discussing the future, and I don't even necessarily want to get married, but a promise ring would be ideal. He brought up having children about a year ago, which I would like to have some form of commitment if we were to go ahead with the child situation. I grew up in a broken home, as did he, and I wouldn't like the same for my children, ideally. I expressed worries of being a single mother, and he said, "You wouldn't be. We would co-parent, and you have family and friends. You would be fine." He said no to the promise ring, and that he could see being with me for about 5 more years, maybe longer, but not long term. He told me, if you want to be with someone forever, you should go be with someone else. That was very painful because this has been the longest relationship in my adult life. Apparently, he doesn't believe in monogamy, which is what I thought our relationship has been since the beginning. There is a lot of confusion surrounding that, because now I question if the last nearly 5 years I've been with this person were even real. I don't want to feel like a burden, and I don't know why he ever asked me to be his girlfriend if he doesn't believe in that kind of thing anyway. I'm just truly confused because it didn't feel like I was speaking to him, but rather a stranger or something. A rug has been pulled out from under me. We never fight or have conflict, and usually things are good, but I can't ignore this conversation. I feel hurt and duped, to be honest. Even in times of emotional need, he tells me to go to therapy instead of offering comfort. I feel that things went great up until the last year because I've had a lot of unexpected, uncontrollable situations that have been putting a strain on my happiness, not regarding the relationship, and everything hasn't been sunshine and rainbows. I'm at a loss. This has been a huge slap in the face. I thought we were on the same page up until now, especially when he brought up children. Is it so crazy to ask for a little commitment, or delusional to want to grow old and have romance together? He's not much of a romance guy. I'm pretty sure he's just comfortable and not deeply in love with me. I could use some advice. Thanks. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. I'm sorry to hear you've wasted 4.5 years with this man-child. At least you know where you stand now. I'd send him and his lazy self packing because you deserve better. Oh, and from now on, do not have intimacy relations with him in any shape or form, and check your contraception. You do not want to be saddled with a child from this loser. Edit. Typo. Comment 2. You should obviously dump him and look for someone who wants to be with you long-term and believes in monogamy. He has obviously cheated on you a lot during these 4 years, so by staying, you are not only compromising your mental health, but your intimacy health too. Now, for the update. A week has passed since I made the post about my 31-year-old boyfriend's feelings on long-term commitment. A lot has happened since then, so I'm here to spill the tea. I went to a friend's birthday party at a bar. My boyfriend was invited, but he said he'd stay home to work on his finances. Sounds legit, right? Well, at the bar, I ran into an old friend, Sarah, who started telling me about her relationship problems too. That girl could talk for hours. I was listening, but I've got my own problems, you know. Anyway, she mentioned how her boyfriend isn't really willing to commit, and I felt like she slapped me in the face. It hit me hard. I was feeling all kinds of ways because of my own situation. After that, I drank a little too much and started catching up with other friends. It's like a therapy session with wine. I ended up spilling my relationship tea to Sarah, and she was a good listener. She revealed that she found out her partner had been seeing someone else, and I was like, dang. The night ended with us exchanging numbers to keep in touch more. The next day, I got a text from Sarah asking to meet up soon, and I agreed. We met at a coffee shop 2 days later and talked about everything. She vented about her partner, and I did the same. It felt good to let it all out. Sarah mentioned setting boundaries in relationships, and that really stuck with me. I realized I haven't done that with my boyfriend, and maybe I should. Later that week, I invited my boyfriend to dinner at my parents' house. My parents love him, so I thought it'd be nice. During dinner, my parents asked about our future plans, and that's when my boyfriend made a joke about living in the moment. I didn't laugh. The conversation shifted when my dad brought up his commitment to my mom. The atmosphere got really tense. My mom even chimed in about the importance of promises. After dinner, my boyfriend took a phone call outside, and I could tell he was distracted when he came back. I confronted him about his attitude at the dinner table, and he shrugged it off. He didn't want to discuss heavy topics at a family gathering. You know what? I didn't want to either, but here we are. The next day, he packed his things and left for a weekend trip with friends. It's like he couldn't get out of my place fast enough. While he was away, I got a message from Sarah checking in. We met again at a park for a walk and talked about everything. I shared my boyfriend's comments and the dinner incident, and she suggested I consider what I truly want for my life. After thinking it over, I decided to lay everything on the table with my boyfriend. I called him over for a serious talk in the living room. When we sat down, I told him that I needed commitment or we were done. He laughed and said he didn't believe in that kind of relationship. I told him that a lack of commitment meant we weren't compatible. He thought we were happy together. I calmly reiterated my need to cut ties if he couldn't meet my needs. He looked surprised but didn't push back, and I walked away. Edit. After a few hours, he texted me that he wanted to talk. He came over, admitted his fear of commitment, and agreed to work on it. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.